Are you ready to feel the burn? Yeah, millennials have felt the burn more than anyone ever. Yet they have an all-time low trust in government. They don't like the government at all. It doesn't make any sense. The internet's libertarian chick, she says the generation who grew up on the web hates Big Brother and loves individual freedom, so ought to embrace limited government moving forward. But is that happening? Kristin Tate is here. She's the author of the new book, Government Gone Wild, How D.C. Politicians Are Taking You for a Ride and What You Can Do About It. Welcome.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Let's talk about this a little bit, because millennials are obviously a very different generation than some of their libertarian-loving predecessors. I think some first-wave libertarians were influenced by Ayn Rand, and they have a very compact ideology, but millennials are different and kind of a paradox in and of their own generation. Right.
Well, what I've noticed among my peers is that there's a lot of apathy within the millennial generation. I mean, look, the job market sucks. We are all living in our moms' and dads' basements, a record number of us, and we are all in this horrible debt from student loans. So amid this horrible suck fest, Bernie Sanders comes riding on his unicorn and says, hey, I want to give you all free
Hey, everybody, free stuff.
It sounds awesome.
And is that why people love him, because he's Santa Claus?
Well, not just that. I think that's one reason, but also because he's very good at making young people excited for their futures. And everything is just so bleak and depressing right now that the way he delivers his messages is really, really uplifting and inspiring.
It's funny that you say that, because you're absolutely right, because he points out how bad your life is.
Right.
It's like an abusive relationship. But then he's like, but I'll make it so much better.
And of course his policies are destructive in practice, but the way he is messaging is really brilliant.
Okay, but how do you take a generation of people who their problems are clearly because of government failures, from healthcare to the student loan cartel, and how do you convince them that limited government is actually a better path?
Well, I think people on the right, libertarians and conservatives, both need to show how their policies lead to prosperity. And they need to do it in really snappy, fun ways that get people excited about the future.
Are they failing at that?
They are failing terribly. So often it's just so depressing to hear all these Republicans talking about how horrible everything is, how they, you know, it's just a lot of negative jargon flying around.
That's the difference with Bernie. Like, they're saying it's negative, but they don't have, it's like they're embarrassed of the solution. It's like they're embarrassed by wealth creation.
And the right needs to utilize, and when I say the right, I mean conservatives and libertarians, need to utilize pop culture, they need to utilize humor, they need to talk to young people in a way that will grab their attention and get them excited. We need more people like you on TV who are funny and relaxed. I mean, we're sick of these stiffs who are just, you know, spouting out Republican talking points and are not authentic.
No more talking points.
Authenticity.
Government has turned into a Joe Francis video. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Kennedy.
Indeed. And